Hello, welcome to Gurukul's CAT 100 series, a series that's designed specifically to take you from your study room to the corporate boardroom. I am Prady Sharma and this is Verbal Mastery with Prady.
Take one. Alright guys, welcome back to another video on the Verbal Mastery with Prady series, a 100 days to CAT series which specifically designed to take you from your study room to the corporate boardroom. In this series, you'll be getting one passage every day along with the QA questions and the LRDI questions powered by the Gurukul. Now, if you want to take this passage as a test, what you can do is go on to www.thegurukul.org.in and write this by signing up to the 100 days to CAT series. Rest assured, this is a completely free series where we are uploading 100 tests for your 100 days of CAT prep on all the subjects, quant, LRDI and verbal ability. So all you got to do is just register for this free series, just sign up and then you're going to get the passages, the LRDI sets, everything to practice. Stay consistent and let's crack CAT 2025 together. Now, in case you want to solve this along with Prady, all you got to do is go along with this video. You're going to pause the video at periodic times when I ask you to read the points, read the paragraph, jot down the important points, and then we're going to go into the questions. Once we're all done with that, what we're going to do is read the passage together, solve it together, and then look at the explanations for the questions. Okay, so for the first part of the paragraph, this is your first paragraph. Pause the video here, take a minute, read it up, jot down the important points, then we're going to move into the second paragraph. Now, this is your second paragraph. Pause the video here, jot down the important points, maybe take a minute, and then we're going to move into the third paragraph. Alright, so this is our third paragraph. Pause the video here, jot down the important points, and then we're going to move into the questions of this passage. Right, so the first question, a nice question. Pause the video, take 1 minute, no cheating guys. Comment your answer and then we'll move on to the second question. Okay, so second question of this passage, nice question. Pause the video here, take a minute, no cheating again, comment your answer and then we're going to move into the next question. Okay, so pause the video here guys, third question of the passage, take 1 minute, no cheating, okay, comment your answers and then we're going to move into the last question of this passage. Alright, so fourth question of this passage, last question. Guys, come on, keep the motive up. 1 minute, let's crack this. Okay, now that you're done with all the questions, let's quickly get into the passage. Go through the passage, understand the passage and then we'll move into the explanations of the questions. So the passage says, home according to the Oxford English Dictionary is a dwelling place, a person's house or abode, the fixed residence of a family or household, the seat of domestic life and interests. Okay, so what is happening? He is giving me some kind of a dictionary definition of home, right? So he's giving me a dictionary definition of home and what is he saying? It's a place where you live. So dwelling means live, okay? A person's house or abode, okay, great. The fixed residence of a family or household, okay. So all this is very simple English, the seat of domestic life and interest. So where your domestic life and interest come into fruition. That is what he's talking about. But more than that, wow, this is important for me. But more than that, while a house is the physical structure, a home is the place where one lives or was brought up with the reference to the feelings of belonging, comfort, etc. associated with it. Okay, so now what's he saying? Now he's talking to me about what a home is. Please understand that this is not a dictionary definition, okay, but he's just defining what a home is. Okay, right. So it's a state of being as well as the place where one lives or one's place of origin. So now he's saying that this is a state of being as well as the place where one lives or the place of origin. So what's happened over here in the first paragraph? In the first paragraph, he's just compared between or compared the definitions of home and house, right? Okay. Now, to the speakers of English or the Germanic and Scandinavian languages or the Finno-Ugric group, that is the language of Northwestern Europe. Okay, so all these things I can just reduce to people of Northwestern Europe, from Hungary to Finland and Scandinavia, the German-speaking lands, and then descending to the Netherlands and across the channel of the British Isles. Again, this whole thing, my dear friends, I can just reduce it to the Northwestern group. Okay, to these peoples, the differences between home and house are obvious. So, Northwestern group people have an obvious difference between home and house. They are two related but distinct things, and therefore they have two separate words. Okay, so they understand that there's some difference between home and house, these people, and that is why there are two separate words for them. These are the languages of what I call home countries. So since they have a difference between home and house, he's calling them as home countries. He's giving the name. Speakers of Romance and Slavic languages living in house countries. So there's another group, okay, probably where the home and house is not obvious. The difference between home and house is not obvious. So in those house countries have by contrary just one word for both the meanings. So what do I understand from this? So in this entire passage I understand that, okay, Northwestern Europe has two words. Okay, one is home, one is house, and there is a clear difference for these people. Okay, whereas when we are talking about Romance and which else? Slavic. Yes, so Romance and Slavic languages, only one word. Okay, now these countries are called as home countries. These countries are called as house countries. Great. So next paragraph. The existence of what I call home and house languages suggests something about the societies in which they develop. Now this is a good idea, this is a major idea that we are getting from the passage, that depending on home and house languages, we understand something about the societies in which they develop. The latter means, see, this is the former one and this is the latter one, right? So the latter will be the house countries. So the house countries are societies where community, space, town, village or hamlet is the canvas. Canvas means the most important thing in this context. Usually canvas is something that you draw the painting on, but in this context we'll have to think that this is the kind of a background, okay, right? So in the house societies, so let me just put this idea down. In the house societies, what do I say? Community spaces, okay, societies, the town, village or the hamlet is a canvas in which the life is painted, whereas an individual house is more of a private area within that primary space. So I can say that the primary thing over here is town, and just a private area in this is your house. Okay, so this is what I am getting from the house countries. Okay, on the other hand, the former are societies where the house is the focal point. Okay, so when we are talking about the home countries, house is focus. That means this is primary in the context that we've learned so far. Okay, while the town, village or hamlet functions mainly as the route through which one passes in order to reach the essential privacies of the houses. So town is just a route, okay, it's just a route to go to our house. The reason for such differences is frequently put down to climate. Okay, so why is there a difference? So this difference is because of climate. Okay, one of the major differences. Okay, mainly he said that it's frequently put down to, right? So I can just say that one of the reasons. This is not the only reason, it's one of the reasons. Okay, and it's certainly more pleasant to spend an autumn afternoon in the market square on the Mediterranean than it is in the Oslo. Oslo is supposed to be very cold. Oslo is supposed to be very dingy. So what he's saying is that yes, where the warm weather is there, where the weather is really nice and pleasant, obviously you would like to spend it in the town, in the city center. Okay, whereas when the streets are cold and all, you'd like to be more confined to your homes. Okay, but while the weather is an element in the distinction between home and house countries, it is only one element among many. So the same thing that we have seen. So now that we have understood all the ideas that are there in the passage, very simple passage to be very honest. Okay, you should not be taking more than 2.5 minutes to read this entire passage and understand and jot down all the ideas. So please tell me in the comments how much time you have taken, and if you need any special tips with regarding to your reading, please feel free to ask that down in the comments. I'll be sure to message you back on that. So, first question, which of the following best describes what the passage is trying to do? So, what is the passage trying to do? That's the whole question. Passage किसके बारे में क्यों लिखा हुआ है? Point out the difference in the importance of home life in different parts of Europe. देखो, first things first, he's not talked about home life, right? So definitely this won't be my answer. Second thing, suggest a connection between the climate of a region and the emphasis on private public life in them. ठीक है, this could be one of the things, but the problem over here is the connection of a climate. When he says this becomes a very partial scope answer for me. That means out of the entire passage, which is this big, okay, this thing about the climate is only one idea. Okay, so whole passage trying to do only this might not be the correct thing. So I'm just going to keep this aside for now. I'm not going to cross it off completely, but let's look at the other options. If we find a better option, we'll go for that. Okay, compare attitudes towards the house home in different societies based on the languages spoken. Yes, now this is what is being done overall throughout the passage. So this will become a better option. So now I can happily cross this out. Since I've not read the fourth one, I'm just going to keep this aside for now. Chart out some languages which do or do not differentiate between house and home. No, see, this is again very surface level an answer. He's just talking about, whether there are a few languages. So here, okay, these are home languages, these are house languages. This is not what the whole passage is talking about. So I can eliminate this. Now since the best answer possible is C, we're gonna go with C. Okay, how many of you got this correct? Just give a thumbs up in the comments and then we'll move forward. Chalo. So second question, in what way do home countries primarily different from house countries as per this passage? So क्या difference है? Major difference क्या है home countries और house countries में? That's what he's asking. Very simple question. The home countries distinguish between the words home and house. Yes, this is something that definitely happens. Okay, तो ये हम लोग का अभी तक का अच्छा ही आंसर है. चलो, let's look at the next one. Life in home countries revolve around the individual house rather than the community. Now, life in home country is revolving around the individual house. I agree. Okay, but is that the primary difference? Not really. They have two different words because they have two different expectations. That is more important for us. So far this is not better than A. The inhabitants in home countries tend to live closer to their place of origin. It's not mentioned in the passage at all. So I'm going to take this off. Home countries have relatively less congenial climate. Again, is the climate good? Is the climate really suitable and all that? That's not been, really talked about for us. So I'm going to take this off. The best answer over here will be A. Now let's move to the third one. The author begins the passage with a dictionary definition in order to. Okay, so why is he starting the passage with a dictionary definition? That's the kind of question he's asked. Okay, so provide the precise meaning of the word home. To be very honest, he's not really given the precise meaning of the word home. Correct. Now, so I'm just going to keep this aside for now. Let's go to B. Demonstrate that the word home means something different to everyone. See, for a lot of people, home and house do not mean something different. So this is an extreme answer. So what I'm going to do is take this off my entire passage. Now underline the difference between the official definitions of home and house. Yeah, see, he has given me the official definition of house, but the second one was not an official definition, right? So I can remove this one as well. Okay. Introduce the idea that the words suggest something about the societies in which they have developed. Now this is more encompassing. Okay. So this is a better answer than A because it actually talks about what has happened in the passage. So why did he start the passage with a dictionary definition? So that it could evolve into something that I understand about the societies. So definitely D will be my correct answer because it's a better choice than A. Now let's go to the last question. Which of the following can be most reasonably inferred about house countries from the passage? Okay. Now see about house countries. What do we know about house countries? Let's just go back to the passage. So people in the house countries, here if you can see about the house countries, we have said that the primary is town and the private is just a home. Right. So now let's go to mention in the passage cannot be taken as an inference. So I'll just remove this. Public life and community interaction are more central to the societal structure in the house countries. Now see, when the climate and all is very good and the way they are saying that town is primary, it's the canvas on which the painting is drawn and all. So I can infer that, okay, maybe to them, the more central part for the societal structure is the community interaction. That is why maybe they are moving as the town being the primary thing. So this could be our answer. The linguistic distinction between home and house is absent due to a lack of emotional attachment to the dwelling. See again, this is not something that we can talk about because we've never been told about emotional attachment and all, right? Yes. House countries are primarily located in regions with warmer climates like the Mediterranean. Now again, I cannot directly infer this for one reason, that climate, okay, is just one aspect, no? So I cannot directly say that, okay, just because of the climate, these things were placed in such a country or such a region. So obviously I can remove this also. The best possible answer for me is B.
Hope you enjoyed learning from today's session.
This series is designed to help you with your CAT preparation and practice daily. We are with you in this journey.
To watch the next video, click here. And to watch Gurukul's CAT 100 series, study room to boardroom, the entire playlist, click here.
If you learned from today's session, like, share and subscribe.